in the runs, living for the drama, loving the SABC Plus sports replays. Now paying your TV license fits the vibe. Simply say hi on WhatsApp on 077 6069 060. Get your balance, make a payment, or set up a debit order all in one chat. No queues, no please hold, just convenience that feels like it should have been here all along. Because every screen in South Africa is a stage and yours is lit. So why wait? Send hi on WhatsApp to 077 6069 060 and get your TV license sorted today.
Bertha Charuma on SAFM.
She is just awesome. Sipokazi, and we'll be talking to her in a few minutes' time. And of course, talking about what's coming up on the show. A gathering for the Timeless Music Encounter with Sipokazi coming up. That's our first conversation. Award-winning singer-songwriter. Stages, pages, screens, and more. The Drakensberg Boys Choir on stage tonight and tomorrow with the Eastern Cape Children's Choir at the Mandela Bay Theatre Complex in Gqeberha. That will be a bit later on. And of course, it's all about music. It's all musical this afternoon. Springs Boys High School Band host concert to raise funds, and we're going to be speaking to band master. Also, later on when we do reviews, well, today there is a book that is an absolutely thrilling, insightful, considering what is happening in the justice system. So I'm going to be speaking to Dr. Vuyo Mthethwa, who launched the biography of her father, former DUT Chancellor, retired Judge President Vuka Chabalala. Trust me, it's going to be riveting. But otherwise, it's going to be an afternoon filled with excitement. And not forgetting the last bit of the show. This Women's Month, we highlight the latest books by women authors. Sewela Langeni, co-founder of Book Circle Capital and author of Making Friends and Feelings, will join us, as well as Michelle Kekana, author of The Fragile Mental Health of Strong Women, also coming up on the show.
This year, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival presents 3 unforgettable days deep in the art and heart of jazz. From the 26th, 27th and 28th of September, Umu Sankare, Ababemu, Jasmia Horn, Silent Law and the Noisemakers, Najbonk Trio, Michelle Ndingio-Cello, Valencini, Gabby Mutuba, and over 50 world-class acts will be ready to welcome you and yours to 4 magnificent stages of the Sandton Convention Center. Take me there. Buy your tickets at Ticketmaster now.
They said women belong in the background, but we've always been the backbone. We drive economies. We innovate, care, build, and break barriers. We don't just raise families, we raise nations. But how do we build a thriving nation while violence still silences our voices? Erasing gender-based violence and femicide from our history isn't a dream. It's a decision, a shared one, a necessary one. This Women's Month, let's rise, not just in celebration, but in solidarity. Because South Africa is strongest when every woman is safe. This message is brought to you by the GBVF Response Fund and proudly supported by the SABC.
Hear the rhythm, feel the heat at the Imbaula Music Festival, where music, culture and community come alive. Tune in to Seasons with KG Mwekezi and the soundtrack of your life with Ernest Pillay, coming to you live from the Pretoria Botanical Gardens from 10 a.m. on the 2nd of August 2025. Come and vibe to Sunel musician Calvin Momo, Amanda Black, Zingo Malo, Trompis and many more. More than music, share stories, spark change, and unite against gender-based violence. Grab your tickets at imbaula.co.za.
SABC Sport brings you Chasing the Sun, a powerful 5-part documentary series about the Springboks telling the rousing tale of their path to redemption and ultimate World Cup glory in 2019. Tune in every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2 for the highs, the heartache and the heroics that made rugby history. Stream each chapter on SABC Plus anytime, anywhere. No subscription needed. Don't miss Chasing the Sun this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2. Be there when history shines.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
And starting off with our first guest, Sipokazi, award-winning singer-songwriter. So a gathering for the Timeless Music Encounter with Sipokazi that's going to be taking place at 6 p.m. tomorrow at Patapata in Maboneng in Johannesburg. We get to find out what it is all about. So at the heart of all this beautiful music in the Timeless Music Encounter with Sipokazi, a curated music experience that brings audiences into the world of storytelling through song and connecting generations through timeless sounds. An absolutely amazing collective effort that brings together a diverse team of talented individuals, from the soulful band members, dynamic vocalists, to the skilled production crew, sound engineers, and lighting technicians. That's Saturday, 2nd August, 6 p.m. Pata Pata, Maboneng, Fox Street in Jeppestown. But Spokazi is online. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I'm just looking at, your journey. You've walked this walk of music for quite some time. But let's first of all unpack the timeless music encounter concept.
Yeah. Spokazi came into the industry in 2006 late, and she's been writing music, collaborating with other writers, writing music, and I have met a lot of people giving me feedback that says your music heals us. We are healed by music. We love your music. So I thought, why not call my music the timeless music encounter? Because when I meet people, when I'm on stage singing, it's not just me singing. I usually say to people, even though I thought I was writing music for people to encourage, to heal, to do all these things, it also comes back to me when I'm down and I listen to my own music. I get to be healed. It gets to feel like I'm not listening to myself. I'm listening to someone else who is healing me. So I get to experience what they talk about when they say my music heals. So I thought it's been a while since I released an album, which is 2018. Why not collect this music now and go around and not even wait for bookings? Because going to Pata Pata, we just had to talk to the manager and say, we would like to come and unpack Spokazi's music. People will come and listen to the music. Let's get to heal one another through this music, through this gathering.
So managing your gift as a business, how has this evolved for you? How different is the experience from when you started to today?
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but I just want to say, firstly, I'm grateful to be signed then and to be able to have the voice, because I call myself a caregiver that stands up for the communities. I am that voice that they have sent to say there is dirty water in our rural areas, children are being abused, our women are being abused. So I am that voice. So when I got this opportunity, it's something that was wonderful. It's still wonderful for me to say I'm grateful to the record label that signed me. But I got to see things when I was at school before I was even signed. I went through a music school. I learned that there are things that you need to do. You take yourself as a brand. You are the business. And I went to the record label at some point to say, hey, I feel like there are things that we need to correct, and by correcting those things, I suggested that let's not renew the contract for management. But then I didn't know that I was messing things up for myself in a way, because there were threats, and those threats, I saw things unfolding as I was threatened to say you won't amount to anything as long as you are not working with us. And those things unfolded, and as a result, I stayed at home for a long time. And at that time, there was no social media to make noise, to say, no, I'm no longer there, I'm here. So I was bound for some time. But I'm grateful, because when I went there, I went with the background of the school to say, this is how Spokazi should handle her brand. And now Spokazi is back to say, I am correcting the wrong narrative that has been going on about Spokazi with my own pace now. And at my own pace, and doing things the way I would like to be done for Spokazi.
And what are the stories you're telling in your music currently, and what interests you the most? I sense there's this sense of spirituality, connectedness, the soul, the universe. I could be wrong.
Okay. Where I was born, I was raised by Christians, and this is the seed that they planted in me. And I think it also gives me some compassion, a compassion of some sort, the way I see people, the way I view what I've gone through, and associating myself with other people. I see that I was brought here to put a 2 cents that is helping in a way that is bringing some healing. Yes, I'm also that Christian who prays for my music. I quote even the word in my music, which is something that is embedded in me.
And what can we expect from your performance tomorrow evening?
Oh, tomorrow evening it's going to be what I've seen over. I think we started this year in March. I have seen people crying, including myself, and I have seen laughter. There's openness, and with this one, we've got time with these restaurants that we get to perform at. There's time. It's not like when we go to a festival and they say Spogazi has an hour and you perform rushing. Now we get to talk, we get to sing for more or less 2 hours. So people can come with the intention to relax and to come out different from the way that they will come in that space. That's all I can say. But it's going to be wonderful.
And as an artist, who has been your most inspiring individual, maybe in the artistic field or as a singer, as a performer?
When I grew up, I used to see my grandmother was a teacher at my primary school. So they used to ask her to come and help when they converted the notes to words. They would call my grandmother. She had a beautiful voice. She sang very nicely, and at home, with the way she brought me up, I take her as one of my top list. She's in the top list of the people who have inspired me. And I was also inspired, and I continue to be inspired by her music. Mamu Miriam Makeba, Dorothy Masuka, Bomam Abigail. I think that generation has planted a wonderful seed in me, because even though some of them are gone, their music still continues, and they spoke the truth. They never compromised with the truth. They spoke it as it is.
And as a powerful lyricist, how do you define timeless music?
Timeless music is music that you listen to in 2025, music that was recorded in the 19th century, like the 1980s, 1970s. But even today, you get a sense of revival in the music. You get some teachings in that music. You get to be humbled by the music, and you get to hear that there's something that's patting you on the back to say you are right here. And when you are wrong, you get to be corrected as well. That is timeless music for me.
I'm speaking to Sipokazi, award-winning singer and songwriter. Maybe you would like to pose a couple of questions. You can absolutely do so. Let's engage her. 086 000 2032, or you can send us a WhatsApp on 061 410 410 That's 061 410 410 And just make sure that your questions or your statement does not exceed a minute, and it's crisp and it's audible, so that we can plug it into our system. Now, coming back to you, Sipokazi, any collaborations that you've been dying to do? Anyone in particular? It could be internationally, it could be locally.
I'm not sure if I would ever collaborate with her, but I love her so much. Rachel Farrell, I love her. She inspires me a lot. And here locally, there is this young girl. She just came in, I think, last year. Her name is Zoe the Seed. Zoe the Seed.
Oh, okay.
I really love her spirit. I love the way she sings. She also teaches music. I believe I will learn a lot from her.
And what do you believe are some of the essential ingredients for a song to resonate with people or generations?
I think being true to yourself, taking from yourself more. Yes, we do get inspired by other people, but for me, I always go back to the first album or the first recording that I've ever done to listen to Spogazi, the way she writes and reading as well. It also contributes to my writing, especially for me, reading the truth that is in the Bible, because it never changes for me. So it inspires me to write timeless music. But I think drawing from me, from my experiences, good and bad, it helps me to pour out the truth that is from within.
I'm speaking to Sipokazi, and if you'd like to engage, you can absolutely do so. We're just going to go for a short break. We're going to have headlines. And when we come back, we continue with the conversation. And maybe I should pose this for you, Sipokazi. You can ponder in for the next 30 seconds or so. In life, we go through dark times. I know right at the beginning you spoke about the challenges that you faced in the music industry that led you to this path. But maybe if you could, some stories that we never really share with your consumers of your music, the deep, dark side that really where you just felt maybe this could be the end of my life, but you overcame. And hopefully we'll be able to look at the brighter side of whatever it is that you went through. Think about it for 30 seconds. For now, let's go to the news and we'll be back.
Thank you, Bertha. On the news headlines, President Cyril Ramaphosa has vowed to support South African businesses that the U.S. imposed tariffs will affect. The 30% tariffs on exports to the U.S. will only take effect in a week's time. Police Commissioner General Fani Masamula says there's a number of issues that he will raise with the new minister, especially to get his assistance in making sufficient resources available to boost the capacity of the police. And the BBC World Service has compiled material on more than 160 cases of children shot in Gaza. It has found that in 95 of them, the victim was shot in the head or chest. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Justice. Justice for the poor. Justice for the orphans. Justice for the oppressed. Justice for the widows. Justice for the poor. Justice for the orphans. Justice for the oppressed. Justice for the widows. Ndithandazela intobeko nikhongelela heshima naombea heshima baninzi abaya kuthi kumnkosi nkosi sasingathena egameni lakho saprofeta sakhupha amadimoni senza imisebenzi yamandla ndandule ndibaxelele ndithi andizanga ndinazi mkani kum hey mkani kum hlohang hona famba kamina duani nsinianga nendambali nami nenza kuchasene nomthetho That's my prayer.
Umthandazo wam. I can really resonate. Featuring DJ Hope Star. And I'm speaking to Sipokazi, and she is an amazing award-winning songwriter. She's a singer and a songwriter, and I just love her music. I think, the beauty is she's so distinctly Sipokazi. So there's a mixture. For me, I feel, it's so soulful, it's jazzy, but there is this ethnicity that comes with it, just distinctly makes her Sipokazi and just stands out. And welcome back, Sipokazi.
Thank you so much, Miss Bertha.
Umthandazo. Talk to me.
Umthandazo.
What was going through your mind?
I think I'm going to combine my answer right now with the answer that I have for the question you asked before we went on the break.
Yes. Where we're talking about the dark and then coming out of that darkness.
Yes. When I was signed, it was 2006. And before I was signed, I was saying, I can't put all my eggs in one basket. Let's separate the two. You can record me, let me be managed by someone else. And then I was talked into it to say, no, we are a new record label, come, then we will release you later on at a later stage. And I already had a lady who was ready to manage me. They called the lady to also have a meeting with her to say, please release her, let's work with her. Then I ended up signing both contracts. Though I was saying it's nice for me to have someone representing me and not me having to come and face you all the time as the management and the record label in one. But I was convinced to sign, I did. But I saw within that year that I made a mistake. I went back to say, can we not renew the contract? Because these things now, I see what I was trying to run away from. Then this is when I received these threats to a point where at some point my music was not playing on radio and on news, like the press was told, people told me from the press that, hey, we were told never to say anything good about you in the press. And even with gigs, there are negative things that were spoken about me. And I was at home crying, praying, hoping that things would change. And I was trusting that the one who gave me the gift would make things happen for me. And because I didn't want to sound like I am fighting, I'm bringing war into this. So I was like, okay, let me stay at home until things start to work out for me. But it took years. And 17 years later now, it's when I got the guts to release a press release to say, no, I'm no longer there. This is where I am right now. I'm with Patsela Music, recorded there and being managed there. And this is when I am feeling that there's some liberation because I released that press release. Coming to this question now, that is the dark side, because music is a calling for me. I get healed by standing on stage and singing. I get healed by writing that music, but it's not enough to just write. I need to take it out there to the people that it belongs to. So coming back to this question, it's a plea or it's a prayer to say anyone who finds themselves in the position of authority, let's try, because, times have changed. Things are happening and things are just put on the surface right now. Nothing is getting hidden or nothing is hidden at all. We should take care of ourselves, but think back. Let's do a lot of reflections to say, I have not treated that one well. In churches, in politics, at schools, at home, everyone is crying. Can we just try to change things or turn things around by being good to one another? Because, things are not good. In most of the people, we are crying. All of us, we are crying about this and that. But it's up to someone else out there who is in a position of authority to say, hey, let me change the way I do things.
Sipokazi, award-winning singer, songwriter. Thank you for making time. All the very best. I'm so happy for you for finding the new voice, new audiences, new platform, basically new life, if I may say so. But thank you so very much and have yourself a good one. And once again, Saturday, 2nd August, 2025 at 6 p.m., Pata Pata, Maboneng Fox Street in Jeppestown. That's where the Timeless Music Encounter concept is going to be given birth to. It's going to be riveting. It's going to be exciting. Thank you so much. Let's take a break. When we come back, because today's Friday, stages, pages, screens and more. The Drakensberg Boys Choir on stage tonight and tomorrow with the Eastern Cape Children's Choir at the Mandela Bay Theatre complex in Gqeberha. We're going to unpack that when we get back.
SAFM music, crafted to make you feel real good. Handpicked just for your pleasure. Classics sounding so good, only on SAFM. The soundtrack of your life with Ernest Pillay.
Some songs take you back instantly to your first love, a road trip, or just simpler times. The soundtrack of your life with me, Ernest Pillay, is where timeless hits and forgotten favorites come together to tell your story. It's not just music, it's memories, moments, and the meaning behind this jam.
Don't you change someone by night.
Rediscover the songs that shaped your journey. Tune in to The Soundtrack of Your Life with me, Ernest Pillay, Saturdays and Sundays, 1 to 4 p.m., only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Standing on his own.
In partnership with SAFM, hear the rhythm, feel the heat at the Imbaula Music Festival, where music, culture and community come alive. Join us tomorrow, 2nd of August 2025 at Pretoria Botanical Gardens from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to vibe to Sun El musician Kelvin Momo, Amanda Blagg, Zingumalo, Trompies and more. More than music, share stories, spark change, unite against gender-based violence. Grab your tickets at imbaula.co.za. Brought to you by SAFM and SABC1. Hear the rhythm, feel the heat. Imbaula.
Stages, pages, screens and more.
And of course, coming up next,
Stop the clocks, it's amazing. You should see the way the light dances off your head. A million colors of hazel golden and red. Saturday morning is fading. The sun's reflected by the coffee in your hand. My eyes are caught in your gaze all over again. We were love drunk, waiting on a miracle, trying to find ourselves in the winter snow. So alone in love, like the world had disappeared. Oh, I won't be silent and I won't let go. I will hold on tighter to the afterglow, and we'll burn so bright till the darkness softly clears. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow. The weather outside is changing. The leaves are buried under 6 inches of white. The radio is playing Iron and Wine. This is a new dimension. This is a level where we're losing track of time. I'm holding nothing against it except you and I. We were love drunk, waiting on a miracle, trying to find ourselves in the winter snow. So alone in love, like the world had disappeared. Oh, I won't be silent and I won't let go. I will hold on tighter till the afterglow, and we'll burn so bright till the darkness softly clears. Oh, I will hold on to the afterglow.
Drakensberg Boys Choir, Afterglow. Ed Sheeran. Wow. Beautiful song. Drakensberg Boys Choir on stage tonight and tomorrow with the Eastern Cape Children's Choir at the Mandela Bay Theatre complex in Gqeberha. And I've got Hendrik Becker, executive head of the Drakensberg Choir, joining us to maybe, I wouldn't even say spill the tea, because just the taste of that music speaks for itself. Hendrik, good to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity.
We're looking at once-in-a-lifetime collaboration as the internationally renowned Drakensberg Boys Choir joins forces with Eastern Cape Children's Choir for 2 unforgettable evenings of choral excellence at the Mandela Bay Theatre complex. Maybe if you could just explain and how you came up with this concept. They sound so great.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're really excited to collaborate with the Children's Choir. The first time we'll sing with them. We were invited by the Nelson Mandela Theatre Complex to do these 2 performances with the Children's Choir, and we're really excited to collaborate. We love collaborating with other choirs. The boys really enjoy making music with others. It's just the wonderful unifying power of music that they love it so much that they look forward to any collaboration with any choir. So it's a wonderful, wonderful 2 evenings. We're really looking forward to it.
And what were the key factors that made the Eastern Cape Children's Choir the ideal partner for this particular project?
I think musical excellence choir excellence is one factor that makes it a very good match for us. They're really a good choir, and we look forward to working with them. I think it's the same style of music, the same enthusiasm and passion that we have, they also have for music. And that brings 2 choirs together, and it just makes it so easy for them to make music together.
And what does a collaboration like this one mean for the mission of Drakensberg's Boys Choir School, particularly in fostering music excellence and leadership?
Yeah, so our motto is to prepare the boys for life and leadership through excellence in music and academics and sport. So the excellence in music is one of the main factors for the school, and we really believe that collaborations like this expose the boys to many other different cultures and different experiences. And we find whether it's a local choir or if it's a choir from the United States or from abroad. We just last week had a wonderful collaboration with the Commonwealth Choir of Pennsylvania. And after they've spent the day with us, the boys cannot stop talking about the new friends they made. And you know, it just broadens their perspective, and it makes it a wonderful, enriching experience for them. So apart from making the music, they also, their own lives get enriched by all the different cultures that they experience.
I can imagine the rehearsal process must have been something else.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So considering the concert is taking place at Mandela Bay Theatre, does this location hold any special significance for the performance or the collaboration?
It's a beautiful venue. We're very excited to perform there. As I say, the theatre complex itself initiated the project and invited us to come. So that in itself makes it very special for us. It's wonderful if institutions like the Mandela Bay Theatre Complex, you know, in a way acknowledges the existence of the choir and the excellence of the choir and invite them to perform in their venues. It's a wonderful privilege for us to be able to do that.
And any particular pieces, maybe moments in the performance that you are most excited for the audience?
Oh, there are so many. I was hoping you don't ask that, because each song is a highlight. Audiences can really expect. Look, the children's choir will perform the first 30 minutes of the program, and then when Drakensberg Boys Choir takes over, the first part of our program will be more classical choir pieces, looking at Magnificat by John Rutter, and a few other classical pieces. We do some contemporary choir works, a beautiful rendition of Faith, some traditional music, and then in the second half we have a wonderful fusion of traditional South African music, blended with some really South African classic songs by audiences can expect to hear Miriam Makeba, and there's some Mango Groove, some Johnny Clegg, some Huma Sekela. It's just a wonderful blend of and celebration of South African music, blended with traditional African rhythms and pulsating drums. It's just a phenomenal feel-good concert that people can expect to hear.
Hendrik Becker, thank you for making time, and all the best. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing everybody at the performance tonight and tomorrow night.
Thank you. That's Executive Head of Drakensberg Choir joining us. Once in a lifetime collaboration, 6 p.m. tonight and tomorrow, the 1st and the 2nd of August. Bookings via www.dbchoir.com. Tickets range from 150 to 300. Mandela Bay Theatre Complex. Safe parking in the complex, security around the theatre to keep patrons safe. So go make something out of something.
The Atlas Lions are roaring to grab a win in their tournament opener. Meanwhile, the Angolans refuse to bite the dust. This is the Total Energies African Nations Championship 2024. Catch Morocco versus Angola this Sunday, 3 August at 5 p.m. Live at your fingertips on SABC Plus and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Mzansi, have you bought your Powerball ticket for the staggering 113 million rand estimated jackpot this Friday? Walala wasala! Play Powerball for the estimated 113 million rand jackpot today for your chance at winning life-changing millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. eTuba is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
The National Pulse, weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m.
3 people, one of them's a mother, they've been arrested after a viral video surfaced. And what did it do? It showed the mother not just using this drug-laced glass pipe. According to that video evidence, she then appeared to light and hand over and get the child to smoke as well. It is like almost unthinkable.
Well, it's not even unthinkable. It's inconceivable. It's an enigma. One cannot understand how a biological mother can subject her child to this gross form of violence and violation. It constitutes physical abuse.
Dr. Shaida Omar, Clinical Director at the Teddy Bear Foundation.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM. Find the podcast at safm.co.za. Stages, pages, screens, and more.
Springs Boys High Band is inviting you to join them for an unforgettable night of music, school spirit as they take to the stage on the 6th of September. Your support matters. Every ticket sold helps the band get one step closer to nationals in KwaZulu-Natal, where they will be defending their hard-earned title. And Springs Boys High School was opened in 1940 and the band started in 1945 and has always finished in the top 3 positions, which is quite amazing if you ask me. In the early 90s, the band changed and their instrumentation moved from bugles, trumpets, drums to full brass, and even incorporating reed instruments being saxophones and flutes and many, many more. But to help us understand what the band uses and who is who in the band and the kind of instruments that they use, I've got bandmaster of Springs Boys High School, that's Sean Boucher online. Good to have you on the show.
Bertha, thank you so much, and thank you for inviting us to attend.
So let's unpack what's going to take place. What can the viewers or those that you're expecting to come and witness the band, what can they expect?
So what we've done is we've put together a 2-hour show, just over 2 hours. It's a celebration of different military marching bands. That it goes back quite far. So we start off with the Sea Cadets, and we demonstrate the old bugles and how the guys used to play the bugles. The Sea Cadets come in and they're going to do a gun run for us, as well as a big demonstration on how they handle their rifles and stuff. We also have various marching brass bands from Mpumalanga and Gauteng that are going to be performing. We also have a mass pipe band involving 5 different schools. They're going to come together and do one mass show. So we're looking at over 400 performers on the day in the Big Top Arena, showing us exactly what can be done with music and marching and drill and dancing and drum majorettes and all of it put together in one massive show.
And the band has grown. You've partnered with Carnival City. How did this come about?
So, yeah, we were originally hosting at what we call a tattoo. It's a military procession at the school's grounds, and it just got too big. We then approached Carnival City. We said we wanted to use the Big Top Arena, which was the best move ever because it doesn't just make the show better. It helps the spectators, and they can go grab their drinks, and they can come in and enjoy the evening and watch the bands and hear the music and see what these children are doing. And I'm telling you now, the people think it's a school show, it's children, but it's professional. It is such high standards that you're not going to believe it.
I was just going through some of the, insightful information about the band, and you were unable to raise funds when you were invited to go and perform in the US, which is so sad because I think as a society we ought to support, such good work. Now, being invited to perform at Jazz of Joy Festival, that must be exciting.
Well, for the kids, it was. They couldn't believe that they were actually invited because this is quite a professional festival, the Jazz of Joy. And normally it's all the schools that have got music centers and music classes, and they take music very seriously. Where at Springs Boys High, we unfortunately don't have that facility of a music class or a music as a subject. These kids come together and do it after hours, and which is great because it keeps them off the streets. But yeah, disadvantaged slightly because they don't have a music teacher teaching theory and all those type of things. So when we were invited, for them it was fantastic. They were so excited, and it was such a good show, such a professional show. They just fitted in so well.
And maybe some of the other highlights?
Of the band?
Yes, of the band.
So, yeah, as you heard, we need to get to nationals this year. So in October, we'll be down defending our championship if we can raise the funds we need. The band has approximately 120 people in it at the moment, which is dancers, musicians, everything, going from guitars, keyboards, drums, right through to your flutes and orchestral instruments. These kids march around on the field while they're playing, they're dancing, they're jumping around. So it takes quite a bit of, coordination. But yeah, it's something to see. You need to look forward to that.
And for more information in relation to the upcoming event on the 6th of September?
There's a website called Ticketspot at www.ticketspot.co.za. There's a lot of information on the website. They can go on there. They can also purchase their tickets there. Or they can contact the school on 011 818 2175. They can also email band, that's BAND, at SBHS for Springs Boys High School, .co.za. I'll repeat it, it's band at SBHS.co.za.
Sean Boucher, thank you for making time and have a good one.
Thank you to you and thank you to all of us. I'd love to see a lot of you there.
Bye-bye for now. That's Bandmaster of Springs Boys High School talking to us, and they have an experience that you don't want to miss where they will be performing on the 6th of September 2025. And for more information, if you are so keen and you want to get tickets, you can always call 818, that's 011-818-2175, and you get more information, or otherwise go to the website. It is 2 and it's time for news.
Thank you, Bertha. On the top stories, Fly-Safair pilot strike has ended and Ramaphosa makes a vow to businesses affected by U.S. tariffs. For SAFM News, I am Ondalambana and a very good day. The 12-day strike by Fly-Safair pilots is now over. The airline has confirmed that the industrial action has officially come to an end following the signing of a formal agreement between the airline management and labor union Solidarity today. In a statement, Fly-Safair says all its aircrafts will return to active duty with schedules being normalized. In terms of the settlement, pilots will receive at least 160 hours weekend off during each 6-week cycle, with a minimum of 9 weekends off per year. They will also be allowed to exchange shifts among themselves. On remuneration, pilots will receive a salary increase of 6% in the first year, followed by 6.5% the following year. The pilots will be entitled to another increase just under 7% in the last 2 years of the deal. President Cyril Ramaphosa has vowed to support South African businesses that the U.S. imposed tariffs will affect. The 30% tariff on exports to the U.S. will only take effect in a week's time. The tariffs are expected to cost the country tens of thousands of jobs if government fails to secure a trade deal with the U.S. before the deadline. Speaking at the union buildings in Pretoria, Ramaphosa said intensive trade negotiations with the U.S. are currently underway.
Our task is to negotiate as strongly and as hard as we can with the United States. But at the same time, we are saying to our companies that we are going to come up with supportive measures which will lessen the blow to our companies. Our objective really is to save jobs. We want to preserve the jobs of those companies that are going to be adversely affected.
Police Commissioner General Fani Masamula says there's a number of issues that he will raise with the new minister, especially to get his assistance in making sufficient resources available to boost the capacity of the police. Professor Feroz Kachalia was officially sworn in at the Union Buildings in Pretoria this morning. He replaces Senzo Mchunu, who has been placed on special leave following allegations of corruption against him. Masemula elaborates.
There is quite a number of issues which I won't, if I have to detail now, it'll take me up to tomorrow. But I'll brief him about the organization, what the organization is doing and what areas we need him to assist us with. So I can't specifically pick up an issue to say on this one, but we do have quite a number of issues that we will raise.
A former municipal manager of the Umzimkhulu municipality accused of killing the former ANC Youth League Secretary General Cindy Somagaqa in 2017 is expected to apply for bail in about 2 weeks' time. 55-year-old Zwelipansi Skosana appeared in court briefly in the southern KwaZulu-Natal town today. The team tasked with investigating political murders in the province arrested him in Durban this week. Skosana is facing charges of murder, conspiracy to commit murder and possession of an unlicensed firearm. The case has been remanded to the 14th of this month for bail application. A former police officer accused of the murder of his Gauteng crime warden girlfriend has denied killing her. The 42-year-old Mandla Buthelezi allegedly shot and killed 22-year-old Chesney Kepler in El Dorado Park in December last year following a domestic dispute. He is today applying for bail at the Protea Magistrates Court in Soweto. The BBC World Service has compiled material on more than 160 cases of children shot in Gaza. It has found that in 95 of them, the victim was shot in the head or chest. Many had no other injury. In most cases, the child was younger than 12. The BBC's Stephanie Hegarty has the details.
6-year-old Mira Tambura had just travelled through a checkpoint when she was shot and killed. She's just one of 95 cases we found of children who were shot in the head or chest in Gaza. We verified media reports, spoke to human rights researchers on the ground and to 30 doctors and nurses who treated the children. In 59 cases, we obtained some account of what happened. In 57, it was alleged the IDF shot the child. 2 were allegedly shot by Palestinians. In 36 cases, we've no account. The IDF said intentional harm to civilians, especially children, was strictly prohibited. It said Mira's case had been recorded and would be examined by the competent authorities.
Recapping the top story, the 12-day strike by FlySafair pilots is now over. The airline has confirmed that the industrial action has officially come to an end following the signing of a formal agreement between airline management and labour union Solidarity today. I am Mondela Mbana for SFM News Headlines at 2:30.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 800-gram Nescafe Rare Coffee value refill for $119.99 plus 250 megs free data on Spar Mobile. 120-gram Simba potato chips, any 2 for 32 Rand plus 100 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Or 2-liter Coca-Cola Original only, 2 for 44 Rand plus 100 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Plus, win your share of 6 million Rand in instant cash. Prices valid until 6 August while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Get ready to brush up on your brightest smile with Dis-Chem's 2+1 cheapest free deals on dental care products. From the trusted Dental Mate to soothing Sensodyne, classic Colgate and many more. Stock up on all your favorite brands. Get down to Dis-Chem today to enjoy 2+1 cheapest free on the widest range of manual toothbrushes, toothpastes and mouthwashes. T's and C's apply. Hurry, dental offer ends 17 August, only at Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
Taifa Stars have a big task to open the curtain with victory for East Africans. But the Stallions want the final whistle to elevate them to the summit in Group B. This is the Total Energies African Nations Championship 2024. Catch Tanzania versus Burkina Faso this Saturday, 2 August at 7 p.m. Live at your fingertips on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Mzansi, have you bought your Powerball ticket for the staggering 113 million Rand estimated jackpot this Friday? Walala wasala. Play Powerball for the estimated 113 million Rand jackpot today for your chance at winning life-changing millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old to play responsibly. E2 is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
In partnership with SAFM, hear the rhythm, feel the heat at the Imbaula Music Festival, where music, culture and community come alive. Join us tomorrow, the 2nd of August, 2025, at Pretoria Botanical Gardens, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to vibe to Sun L musician Kelvin Momo, Amanda Black, Zinglumalo, Trompies and more. More than music, share your stories, spark change, unite against gender-based violence. Grab your tickets at imbaula.co.za, brought to you by SAFM and SABC One. Hear the rhythm, feel the heat. Imbaula.
Bertha Charuma on SAFM.
really can feel it's a Friday, isn't it? Msaki featuring Moby Dixon, Love Color Spin. Just to recap the better part of the show, at the beginning, we had spoke as the award-winning singer-songwriter, gathering for the Timeless Music Encounter with Sipokazi that's coming up. And also we spoke to Hendrik Becker, Executive Head of the Drakensberg Choir, and talking about the boys' choir on stage tonight and tomorrow with Eastern Cape Children's Choir at the Mandela Bay Theatre Complex. And also I had a quick conversation with Sean Boucher, bandmaster of Springs Boys High School, and we're talking about Springs Boys High School Band hosting a concert to raise funds. Now, coming up in the second hour, we're catching up with Dr. Vuyo Mtetwa, Deputy Vice Chancellor at the Durban University of KZN, and Dr. Vuyo is launched a biography of her father, former DUT Chancellor, retired Judge President Vuka Chabalala. And we're going to unpack the book On Trial. Just looking at the title, you would have so many thoughts going through your head. But we thought, let's speak to the author and let's find out what is at the bottom of the title itself when we get back.
This Women's Month, SAFM stands with the women shaping South Africa's future. Under the theme, Building Resilient Economies for All, we honor the pioneers, the problem solvers, and the everyday heroes driving change. Stay tuned as SAFM brings you powerful stories and meaningful conversations that move us. SAFM, celebrating women, celebrating progress. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday, the 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. Bertha Charuma on SAFM.
So, On Trial is a book, a biography, narrates the legacy of opportunities within the legal profession today, direct result of the struggles, the trials of pioneers like Chabalala, and his story explores the full spectrum of what trials mean within legal jargon, embodying both legal and existential challenges that are faced. Judge Vuka Chabalala was a trailblazer as the first black advocate in KZN Natal Bar Council in 1969, overcoming significant obstacles due to apartheid's segregation laws, and later facing a petition against his candidacy for Deputy Judge President of the KZN High Court, to eventually be the first JP in South Africa. As Judge President, he demystified the role of judges, showing that they are not demigods, but human, approachable, capable of understanding and adjudicating on issues affecting the lives of all South Africans. And on the line, I'm joined by the author, that's Dr. Vuyo Mtetwa, author of On Trial, The Legal Journey of Judge Vuka Chabalala. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate your time.
So as I looked at the title, I thought, okay, what could be the contents of the book? But maybe let's start at the beginning. The inspiration that brought about you writing the biography of your father's life. What was his reaction to the idea when you first introduced it?
Let me say that I was actually inspired by my father in terms of his journey. He's been wanting somebody to write his story for so many years. especially since he retired in 2010. So for years now, this story has been 15 years in the making. We couldn't find anybody to do the book. Eventually, my father had been saying, my story needs to be told. So I then said one Christmas, which was in around 2023, I think it was 2022, I said, Baba, as I call him, I will attempt to do the book. Even at that point, I was not sure I would do it myself. But what inspires me ultimately is the fact that having to be able to narrate a story about a parent that you have grown up, lived, and aspire to is actually priceless. That is the greatest inspiration. I think my father was actually happiest to see that his daughter was willing and could actually ultimately produce this book.
And the book highlights the challenges your father faced as a black advocate and judge during and after apartheid. Which of these experiences, from your perspective, do you believe was the most significant in shaping his character and career?
I would say that the main one would have been for him to become the first black advocate in 1969, because at that time it is during apartheid where a black man cannot be in this particular space. That would have shaped his resilience, his perseverance, and his commitment to his passion.
Just looking at the contents, as I was reading the book, and getting to understand the trial. There's a section, I think it's on page 95, where in his own words, he speaks about him and Sikweya being admitted as advocate a year. Well, Sikweya was, admitted as an advocate a year after him and practicing adjacent to Lotson House. And he speaks about how they had to go such a rigorous process of being accepted to practice. That was way back in 1976. Could this had been the moment where he felt this is more like a trial?
Absolutely. That would have been his real trial, because first of all, he was not given pupillage, and therefore, of course, pupillage at that time was not compulsory as it is today. But at that time, my father had to stand on his own. He had to prepare for cases on his own without the normal association and leaning to other advocates. Advocates that were there of the day in KZN were on the other side of town. And so him practicing as an advocate would be about reading and amassing his own personal experiences through the many briefs that he got from the lawyers. He was very fortunate at the time that in the building that he was in, Lotson House, there were many lawyers, and all the briefs came to him. So something that should have been a difficulty for him became much easier because he was given a lot of work, which forced him to read.
And I was also looking at some of the contents. It includes testimonies from other legal figures. How did these perspectives enrich the narrative, provide a more complete picture of your father's impact on legal profession?
The testimonies of the other people that are included in the book were really important because they highlight the intertwine of different stories, different experiences in that time, and others that would have also had a similar experience to my father's. So for me, the reason why I actually included these testimonies, I wanted to get the perspective about my father from other people who would have had some experience similar to him, but who would have been impacted by what he did on them. So a lot of the people that are included in these testimonies are people that my father had a great impact on their development in the legal fraternity.
And you also mentioned that your father had a 15-year-old dream of this book.
Yes.
Which is quite fascinating. What was the process of bringing his vision to life? How did you navigate the challenges of writing his story? I mean, writing your own parents' story can be something else.
Bertha, I should just say one thing. One of those issues was to actually interview my father. At the beginning, when I interviewed my father, and I think it was also subject to age and subject to ill health at that particular moment, he would be repetitive, and sometimes I would think, well, is he maybe not able to share some of the deeper issues because he's talking to his daughter? And therefore, what I did to navigate and to offset that challenges I thought may exist, I asked some of my colleagues to interview him so that I could get broader perspectives.
Now, I just want to go through, some of the chapters because the book basically, it is quite straightforward and it's quite a nice read. Very, very nice read, I have to say. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So you've got, your first section, which you call part 1, Through the Eyes of a Daughter, and you're just writing about, how you saw your perspective of your father's biography. Then you've got the second part, part 2, where you talk about morality against the law. Then the first black advocate, which I believe, considering that was during apartheid, must have been so hard, in court before a judge. And that particular section, I was talking to my producer yesterday to say, I hope I don't get tempted to rope in what we are seeing in the judiciary environment at the moment and just the chaos. They are in the spotlight for the wrong reasons. And I thought, I'm not going to touch on that because then it just kills the whole purpose of what is the contents of the book. Then you get the third part in basically where he is explaining what transpired in his own voice, which I felt, you actually really see the story as it unfolds and you consume it and you see it. Well, from my perspective, I saw it in my own eyes. It was like I could actually envision what was going on during his era, during his time.
Yes. You are absolutely correct. I was very purposeful in the way I spread out the book. Actually, what I did do, in fact, I should have included it somewhere at the back of the book. I drew a mind map in terms of the various areas that I wanted to touch. I wanted, most importantly, to hear my father's voice, to get his voice in the narrative, to also talk about his family, because some of the trials, and that's why the book actually, even though I use the legal jargon as trial, the trials that my father experienced are not only within the legal fraternity, but they've also been personal trials. If you think about the fact that at the beginning, I talk about his family history, that his mother single-handedly brought him at the age of 2 to KZN from Johannesburg. That my father, during the time before he even becomes advocate, he basically tried to go through the trials of university environment. Remember, the university environment was where black people were in different institutions. That as he now becomes towards the judiciary to become judge, just before that, he loses his wife. And at that time, he is now an advocate, and he's working his way in terms of his career, developing his career. His career is thriving. His wife gets killed. And again, that in itself is the fact that he then has to step in as a single parent for 6 children during the time when he's still trying to build his career. So there are many facets in this book that I've tried to incorporate about my father. But obviously, the theme that permeates through the book is largely legal because that's, to me, that's the biggest substance of his trials.
And you're a Deputy Vice-Chancellor at the Durban University of Technology, an institution
Correct.
your father once served as Chancellor. How does his legacy influence your work and your vision?
Let me say that actually, because I am in an institution of higher education, I suppose it should be expected that I could actually translate my father's history into word by writing a book. And the fact that he's risen to all these high levels, including being the Chancellor of the university, I have to obviously live up to that legacy. And I have to ensure that my development is aligned. Again, as I was writing my father's trials, one goes through one's own trials. But even though you go through your own trials, you must also always succumb beyond those trials and live up to the legacy that you come from.
And then, yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, I also think that out of these kind of lessons, for me, what I'm hoping that other people can learn and be inspired by this story and narrate their own stories. Because in our country, especially black people, our legacies are never narrated.
That is so true. That is Dr. Vuyo Mthethwa. I wish I could speak to you for an hour, and I'm limited for time. Thank you for making time. So the book is On Trial, the South African jurisprudence personified, a beautiful read. And then there's one section, there's actually in the midsection of the book, you can actually see some pictures, because then you can put faces to some of the names that you see, that you read, which makes it even more visual. Thank you so much for making time. And it's a beautiful read for anyone who would like to see what the justice system from a different angle looked like. And I think during apartheid, there was a fight that made sense. And now I'm not so sure what is happening. I suppose we'll get to understand. This is a book that can give you a beautiful foundation of what we need or ought to understand and take out of a stable system. And the people that created that foundation, especially where the justice system is concerned. Thank you so much, Dr. Vuyo, and have yourself a great one.
Thank you very much. Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much for the time. Thank
Bye-bye
you.
for now. It's just gone after 2:30. It's time for news.
Thank you, Bertha. On the news headlines, the 12-day strike by FlySafair pilots is now over. The airline has confirmed that the industrial action has officially come to an end following the signing of a formal agreement between airline management and labor union Solidarity today. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula says a dedicated session has been arranged to discuss the challenges facing the GNU and their NEC meeting currently underway in Omonde, south of Johannesburg. And the former South Korean president, currently in detention, has resisted attempts to take him out of his prison cell by lying on the floor wearing just his underwear. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
The councillor, Dambuza, of the EFF, was choked to the point of unconsciousness. I trust you're okay now, health-wise?
I'm fine, although some of the body pains now are starting to kick in, but I'm fine.
So, and I'm glad for that. Tell us what happened from your side.
We always, in the City of Cape Town Council, have a speaker that can run the council through the rules. She does not understand them, and she always needs to be given assistance to understand them.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM. Find the podcast at safm.co.za. The soundtrack of your life with Ernest Pillay.
They were more than just songs. They were the backdrop to your best days and the ones that change everything. The soundtrack of your life with me, Ernest Pillay, brings you iconic classics and hidden gems that spoke to your heart then and still do now. Whether you're driving, relaxing, or just remembering, let the music take you right back. The soundtrack of your life with Ernest Pillay. It's about your past, your story, and it's all right here on your favorite station, Saturdays and Sundays, 1 to 4 p.m.
This is SAFM. You are listening to The Full Circle.
Hello friends and welcome to Nali Bali. Have you ever tried on a new pair of shoes or a cool outfit and felt so excited that you said it fits perfectly even when it wasn't quite right? Sometimes we really want to love something so much that we might forget to be honest about our size. But honesty is very important, especially when it comes to finding the right fit. When we tell the truth about how our clothes or shoes really fit, we can make better choices and feel more comfortable. Today's story is about learning why it's okay to say these don't fit, so that we can always be happy and confident in what we wear. So sit back, listen closely, and let's begin our adventure in honesty. Today's story is called The New Shoes, written by Tembinkosi Mabaso. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and... Fufu's feet were dirty and bruised. It has been difficult walking to and from school barefoot. The gravel road was uneven and some of the pebbles were sharp, and the school was kilometers and kilometers away from Fufu's home.
Your uncle will bring you a new pair of shoes this weekend, Fufu. Then you won't have to walk to school barefoot.
Her mother promised her.
I'm looking forward to getting my new shoes, Mama,
said Fufu, nodding her head in anticipation. Her uncle worked far away in town and only visited them on Sundays. Fufu hadn't had shoes since January. Now it was May. She could not bear to walk to school without shoes any longer. As promised, Uncle Falaza brought the shoes on Sunday morning. When Fufu saw the new shoes, her jaw dropped.
They're awesome!
She exclaimed with her hands on her chest.
Come on now, don't waste time. Try them on right away.
Her mother encouraged her. Fufu ran out to wash her feet. Beautiful shoes deserved clean feet. With her feet now washed, she took one shoe and tried it on. The shoe was tight. She pushed harder, trying to force her foot into it. But horror of horrors, the shoe was too tight.
My girl, I think your foot has grown too big for that size shoe,
said her mother. Fufu shook her head in denial.
No. This can't be. These shoes are just my size, Mama. I think it's just because they're new, you know?
She said as she continued to force her foot into one of the shoes.
Don't worry, Fufu. Your uncle will take them back to the town and exchange them. He'll bring you a bigger pair next Sunday.
Next Sunday?
Said Fufu, opening her eyes wide in despair.
Mama, I can't wait that long. I told my friends that I'd be wearing my new shoes on Monday.
When her mother disappeared into the kitchen, Fufu had an idea. She smeared her feet with petroleum jelly. She tried the shoes on again. She pushed her foot deep into the shoe, and this time the shoe slipped over her heel.
I told you they were the right size, Mama,
bragged Fufu as she walked around the house modeling in her new shoes.
I'm not sure, hey?
Groaned her mother. She knew that Fufu was determined to keep the shoes. She could not wait to wear them to school. When Fufu left home on Monday morning, she looked very smart. Wearing a school uniform with socks and shoes made a big difference. Fufu was feeling so proud. The first part of her journey went well, but by the time Fufu got to the school gate, her feet were hot and itchy. It felt as if she had been walking on needles. Fufu put on a brave face as she walked into her class.
Beautiful shoes!
Fufu's classmate said.
Oh, thank you,
said Fufu, smiling from ear to ear. She was the only one who knew how sore her feet were. She slipped off her shoe as soon as her feet were under her desk. Ah, what a relief! She could feel the cool air soothing her burning feet, and she could now concentrate on her lesson. When Fufu stepped out of the school gate that afternoon, she hoped that her feet would cope with the journey home in her beautiful shoes. She walked with her head up and her back straight. By the time she got halfway, her feet were piping hot. They were sore and bruised. Every step was a punishment. Soon her eyes filled with tears. Fufu could not take it any longer. She stopped and sat down by the side of the road and took off her shoes and socks. She wiggled her toes and sighed with relief. After a while, she continued her journey home barefoot. At first, she walked slowly and carefully, like a bride going down the aisle on her wedding day. Gradually, she picked up the pace and then walked home briskly. Her shoes were nowhere to be seen. They were hidden deep inside a school bag.
I thought so,
said Fufu's mother when she saw her walking through the gate.
I tried, Mama,
sobbed Fufu as she entered the house and threw herself onto the chair.
Well, Uncle Falaza will come again on Sunday. You'll have to ask him to buy you a new pair in a bigger size. But you'll have to wait another week until he returns with your shoes.
Said Fufu's mother.
I don't mind waiting at all.
Fufu said while looking at her dirty feet. Fufu knew that next time she would make sure that the shoe size fitted her properly. In future, she would listen to her mother and not be so stubborn. And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called The New Shoes, written by Tembinko Simabaso. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit the Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplement with great children's stories and activities, available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
Well, that's Nali Bali, something for the kids. Well, coming up next, this is the last leg of the show. So this Women's Month, we highlight the latest books by women authors. Sewela Langeni joining us, co-founder of Book Circle Capital and author of Making Friends with Feelings, as well as Michelle Kekana, author of The Fragile Mental Health of Strong Women. And of course, Sewela will give us, some of the books that you ought to read. You ought to consider reading. The smallest ones by Popina Kumanda. She will unpack that. Love Zola by Zibusitole. She'll get to unpack that. And then, of course, Michelle Kekana, the author of The Fragile Mental Health of Strong Women. This is quite an interesting read. So black women are labeled as strong. We wake up, you think you can handle it, and you're handling everything. Their tears often seen as indulgent, suffering expected to have an imminent expiry date, if there is anything of that. And in Michelle Kekana's ambitious debut, 3 modern South African women find themselves brought to a breaking point as they navigate the complexities of life, love, mental health. Utterly engrossing. From the first page, The Fragile Mental Health of a Strong Woman. So I'm going to pose a question, something to think about. That's for you to ponder on. That's for you to dissect, analyze. How strong are you? Now I'm speaking to women here. How strong are you on a scale of 1 to 10? You can write maybe 3 aspects or 3 pointers or 3 characteristics that define your strength. And on a scale of 1 to 10, you can put a mark to it. And then also just check mentally, are you really being honest? And is it something that you really feel you advocate for, to say, I'm strong because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I sit at 7 and I'm faring very, very well. Just something to, let's just have a little bit of a game there. And if you would like to also engage in the conversations, absolutely welcome, 086 000 2032, or you can give us a call on 061 410 410 Also on that scale of 1 to 10, you can give us a call and let's find out how strong we are and what words really describe the type of strength that you believe you have. Just wondering. I wonder, because I think we all see life differently and we all define things differently and we see things differently. But anyway, let's start off with our guest, Sewela Langeni, co-founder of Book Circle Capital and author of Making Friends with Feelings.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
Harambee Stars want to shine at night with maximum points, while Central Africans, DR Congo, eye 3 points to settle in Group A. This is the Total Energies African Nations Championship 2024. Experience Kenya versus Democratic Republic of the Congo this Sunday, 3 August at 2 p.m. Live at your fingertips on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Mzansi, have you bought your Powerball ticket for the staggering 113 million rand estimated jackpot this Friday? Walala wasala. Play Powerball for the estimated 113 million rand jackpot today for your chance at winning life-changing millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. eTuba is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
In partnership with SAFM, hear the rhythm, feel the heat at the Imbaula Music Festival, where music, culture, community come alive. Join us tomorrow, or 2nd of August 2025, at Pretoria Botanical Gardens. That's from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to vibe to Sun L musician Kelvin Momo, Amanda Black, Zinxumalo, Trompies, and more. More than music, share your stories, spark change, unite against gender-based violence. Grab your tickets at imbaula.co.za. Brought to you by SAFM and SABC One. Hear the rhythm, feel the heat. Imbaula.
Bertha Charuma on SAFM.
And I'm now joined by Sewela Langeni, co-founder of Book Circle Capital and author of Making Friends with Feelings. And we are celebrating Women's Month, highlighting the latest books by women authors. Good to have you on the show, Sewela.
Thanks for having me, Bertha.
And as per usual, it's Friday. We get to unpack or tantalize, or should I say, give an idea of sorts of the type of books maybe one ought to have in their library.
Yes. And today we've got a selection. The first one, the smallest one, it's called The Smallest Ones, published by Penguin, by an author called Popina Kumanda. This is a story about two sisters that escape from the DRC in pursuit of freedom. Their town, their village is actually captured by rebels who actually keep them for 5 years. And they then they escape and find themselves in South Africa and have to piece their life together, where she ends up, being back in school, qualifying in cybersecurity in the University of Cape Town. And this is actually just a story of showing how, resilience and the journey and the nightmare of having to live in a war-torn country and still being able to stand up and have your life together. And as you rightfully said, we're celebrating Women's Month in August in South Africa. So I just thought this was such a wonderful story of resilience, especially from a young author, because often these stories of resilience, we hear them from struggle stories. So it just shows that, there's current struggles to this day as well.
And then Love Zola by Zibu Sithole.
So Love Zola is more romance. I mean, we started with hard stuff, so this is a nice soft story. This is a trilogy. So this is the third book in the trilogy by Zibu Sithole. She gave the Sing with Zola in 2023. Last year she gave us I Do, Don't I? And then this year she's doing Love Zola. So it's a story anchored around Zola and Bali, who are, a young couple trying to find love to find themselves to each other as a couple. But then there's exes in the mix, there's family, there's siblings. And so when it finished in I Do, Don't I, they were about to get married. So now we need to know what happens next. This one is literally fresh off the press. I think copies are landing in bookstores like next week. So we're looking forward to see what happens next. Zibu writes so beautiful. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. You just want to know what happens next, but in a beautiful way where it's very contemporary. She writes spaces that, when she writes it, you literally see yourself right there because it's current lives in Johannesburg right now.
And then, of course, we do have Michelle Kekana, who's going to be joining us in the conversation.
Absolutely. And I loved your introduction and how you wanted us to check our strength meter and our mental health meter when you position this book. We launched this book at Book Circle Capital, I think, beginning of June. The Fragile Mental Health of Strong Women. And in your intro, as you rightfully said, the book follows 3 characters, Hope, Ayanga, and Zetu. And they both face all 3 of them face traumatic events that lead them to various mental health challenges. So I don't want to go too much into this one. I want to give you the chance to speak to the author since we have her in the discussion.
Michelle, good to have you on the show.
Hello, Bertha. Thank you so much for having me.
The Fragile Mental Health of Strong Women. And it simplifies everything. It says it for what it is. What inspired you to write the book? What was going through your mind?
I think my relationship with my own mind. I think the longest relationship any of us are ever going to have is how we relate to ourselves. We literally cannot escape ourselves from the time we are born till we take our last breath. But what happens when mentally you're not okay with you? How do you cope? Like society has women being like labeled as strong. And I just wanted to interrogate the strength that sometimes is to our detriment. Sometimes when we're going through the most, we're not allowed space to be fragile, especially as Black women. We're always imbogodoing and but we're not rocks. I mean, we're vulnerable, we can break, we're fragile. So I wanted to contrast the strength that is expected by society with the fragility that we sometimes experience in writing the book.
I don't want to sell out as much, but maybe if we could you've got 3 characters?
Yes.
And they're navigating through life and they're going through what they're going through.
Yes.
From a reader's perspective, what do you intend them to take away?
The hope, obviously, when you're writing a book is that the characters are not one-dimensional and that they breathe for the reader. I want the reader to see themselves, right? Even if they haven't gone through the exact same experiences, to see the humanity in the characters, to see how sometimes when you're going through mental health struggle, that the mind is the antagonist. It's what's ailing you, but also the mind has to be the savior at the end of the day, because only you can open your mouth and ask for help, and only you can open your mouth and find yourself support. So we're looking at the mind as both a friend, as an enemy in these books, and these 3 characters.
And the book itself is set in modern South Africa, right?
Absolutely.
How does this specific cultural and social context influence the characters, their experiences with mental health, family, societal expectations?
In South Africa, we're still we're at the beginning stages of talking about mental health issues. In the past, you had to be literally schizophrenic and picking up papers and stuffing them into your underwear to get any sort of help. If you were maybe struggling with depression or postnatal depression and still functioning, you got no help. Instead, people would say, no, how can you be depressed if there's meat in the fridge, if you have family support or whatever it is. So it's society waits for women to be at their breaking point before offering help. And I'd like for women to take care of themselves before that happens. It's on social media, they're always saying, I'd like women to be to themselves, because we do so much caring to others, we're the backbone of society as far as emotional strength and health is. But we need to be that to ourselves. Treat yourself with the kindness and the care that you would give a friend.
And going through the research, I can imagine. Did you draw any personal experiences of the individuals? What was the process like?
I drew personal experience for myself. I have been living with depression since I was 12, and it's idiopathic. There's no outside cause. I mean, like, I was a doted upon daughter, like, very warm household, whatever. But because of the biochemistry in my brain, I still experienced depression. And I think because there was no outward explanation to why I was sad, it was harder to get help. Because, like I say, like, as soon as you're saying, I want to be out of here. Like, I'm not feeling, connected to the life experience. People would start rattling off your blessings. No, but you have this and that. You have family support. You have this. And sometimes it is not about what you have. It's like the mind has a biochemistry that is just as palpable and as real as the lungs have. For example, we don't say to somebody who has asthma, no, but there's so much air around. Just take a big breath. Do you know what I mean? We help them, give them a pump. And I think there's also stigma into taking antidepressants and medication to help with mental health. And I'd like to remove that stigma using fiction, because I found, like, when I was learning about the world, about how to be human, literature has always been such a strong teacher for me. I learned through stories.
And this is your debut novel, right?
It is.
What was the most challenging part of writing full-length work of fiction, and the most rewarding?
The most challenging part was taking the voices in my head and putting them on paper. Because sometimes you imagine how you want things to sound like, and you take the alphabet and put it on paper, and it doesn't exactly sound like what you wanted it to sound. And I think trusting my own literary voice, because obviously I'm new to literature, having the, I guess, confidence to continue, even though sometimes I might write a chapter that I'm not impressed with, to slog on, to continue, to not to be hypercritical to the point of stopping.
Now, as an author, what do you think is the power of fiction in addressing and destigmatizing topics like mental health?
Oh, I think literature is so important, right? It teaches tolerance, because you are able to inhabit the lives of people who aren't like you. So, I'm not writing this book necessarily for all the people who are depressed. I'm writing for the people who aren't depressed maybe, but who have family members and people in their lives that are, so that they can see, the world through a depressed person's eyes. Whenever I've grown, in terms of, whenever there was growth in my life in terms of understanding the next person's story, I found that literature is always the best vehicle, because sometimes you can learn about, for example, the Palestinian experience through the news, through journalism, but until you hear an actual story of a lived experience of a Palestinian child who has to live with being bombed all the time, then it humanizes people. I think literature humanizes human experiences in story form.
And I know that, Sewela, I have not neglected you.
I've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed it.
I've not neglected you. Maybe just lastly, Michelle, any other work that we can expect? And also maybe, Sewela, you can wrap it up and tell us, other projects that are upcoming.
I'm working on a book currently. It's sort of it's a departure for me because it's speculative fiction, but it's in the very infancy. It's embryonic still. But I'm hoping that I persevere and see it to the bitter end.
Sewela?
Yeah, thank you so much for this conversation, Bertha, with Michelle. I think it's going to be so beneficial for our listeners just as we start Women's Month. I think from Book Circle Capital, we look forward to hosting Love Zola with Lorraine and Zibuti Tole, who will be discussing this book. So in the middle of all the issues that women face, we can also just pause and just enjoy, reading a beautiful book that talks about love and enjoying ourselves, as Michelle says, holding ourselves like that fragile egg. But yeah, it's exciting to hear this.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us, and have a good one.
Thank you so much for having me, Bertha. Thank you, Suella.
Thank you. That's Sewela Langeni, co-founder of Book Circle Capital, author of Making Friends with Feelings, as well as Michelle Kekana, author of The Fragile Mental Health of Strong Women. Suppose that wraps up the full circle today, and it's a Friday, and it's the 1st of August, and a pinch and a punch for the beginning of the month. And to my technical producer, you've done an absolutely spiffy job. To my content producers as well, thank you so much. Well, it's been great. It's been fantastic. I've had a good time. Let's do this again sometime soon. Bridget should be back next week, and sure, I'm also looking forward to listening to her work. But otherwise, Ashraf is up next. It is the National Pulse, and you know, a lot can come out of the National Pulse. And right now, the heartbeat of this country is on, I don't know, it's on maroon. Or is it red? No, it's pumping hard. Eh? The blood pressure is high. But anyway, do stand by for news coming. Ondela is on standby, and it's been great. Have a good one.
A good weekend to you, Bertha, and the team. On the top stories, Fly Safair pilot strike has ended and Air Force to end. Political killings continue. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good afternoon. The 12-day strike by Fly Safair pilots is officially over. The airline has confirmed that the industrial action has come to an end after a formal agreement was signed today. In a statement, Fly Safair said all its aircraft would have returned to normal schedule by next week. In terms of the settlement, pilots will now receive at least one 60-hour weekend off during each 6-week cycle, with a minimum of 9 weekends off per year. They will also be allowed to exchange shifts among themselves. Regarding remuneration, pilots will receive a salary increase of 6% in the first year, followed by 6.5% the following year. They will be entitled to another increase of just under 7% in the final 2 years of the deal. Helgard Cronje is the spokesperson for Workers' Union Solidarity.
The fact that parties had to settle on a mediator's proposal